be on the phone with INS, and they themselves would have me deported that day. And that was my fear, and that was my life. And I loved them so much, I would not have blamed any of them, because they matter so much to me. But before I ended it, I wanted them to know my situation. I think part of me hoped that they would react badly because it would give me an excuse to do what I was terrified to do. Among these people is a couple named Chris and Elizabeth Hayes, who I've known 15 years. And I was so certain that the day Chris found out about my situation, there'd be a knock on my door from immigration. And instead, their response changed my life. They wrote me a letter telling me how proud they were of me, how much they loved me, how much I meant to their life, how heartbroken they were over my situation, and how they would do anything and everything they could to help me. And it shocked me to the point where I started telling more and more people, to the point where I told 400 people before the article was published. And not a single human being did what I always feared would happen. Not a single human being hated me, rejected me, made me feel like I was evil. And I realized that God had given me an incredible gift, a gift that I did not ask for, a gift that I did not deserve, and that a gift that I never dreamed I could ever achieve, and that was this. Each one of those people told me what I meant to them in their lives. Each one of those persons told me how valuable I had been to their life. And I would ask you this: if there's someone in your life that has meant something to you, I'm sure there are dozens, tell them. Because you don't know where they are in life. And I can tell you that I was at the end. I was ready to go. And it was their responses that actually gave me this very ironic moment. Before, I hate saying the word suicide because I know it's horrible, but before I did that, I remember I was angry. I was so angry at God. I remember saying to him, if you're real, you must hate me. And I kind of was curious, is this fun for you? Do you love dangling these carrots in front of me? 3 months, 4 months, 2 days, 2 years, over and over. You keep putting things in front of my face. And I sort of thought, I'm going to take control. I'm going to take this away from you. You won't be able to taunt me anymore. And I even remember thinking, I told my mother so many times that I wish I'd never been born, and I remember thinking, I'm never going to have one of those It's a Wonderful Life moments. I'm never going to have one of those. And then one day, I'm sitting on my couch laughing because I'm thinking, what an amazing life I've lived. Maybe I don't have riches, maybe I don't have fame, maybe I don't have worldly success, but if 400 people could take the time to tell me that I've actually meant something to their life, then maybe my life wasn't such a waste. And it just gave me this deep hope. As I share my story with people, one of my concerns is that you'll feel sorry for me. And often when I share it with people, they always say, I'm so sorry. And that's not what any of us want. Immigrants, we don't want your pity. We don't want you to feel sorry for us, because what I've learned is this, that my life is not any harder than yours. Not even a slightly little bit harder than yours. Life is just hard. It's so hard for everyone. And this is just the tribulations that I have to deal with. And I told a Washington Post reporter, when this gets fixed, when this gets resolved, I'm going to be blessed with a series of new problems. And I'm going to have to deal with those too. And life is just going to continue to be hard. So I don't want you guys, or we don't want you guys to feel bad for us. Because your life is equally hard. You have equal challenges. What I've learned is this. What makes life tolerable, what makes life enjoyable, what makes life amazing is people, each other. When we stand with each other, when we communicate with each other, when we tell each other what we mean, when we're transparent, when we're honest, when we love each other. Whatever our trials are, we'll get through them together. I took my story public because I wanted to make a difference. You see, I've been blessed in so many ways that I have access to one of the most powerful attorneys, immigration attorneys in the country out of Manhattan. Not because of my own, because of the people I know. I have 2 congressmen working on my situation with no real solution, but they're trying. President Obama, who I've never agreed with, or have not often agreed with in his politics, I've become to adore because of how hard he's worked for immigrants. Knows who I am. He's been told by name by one of his golfing buddies, who I happen to see on a weekly basis. And I sort of felt that if I took the story public, if I told the world who I am, and even I, with an MBA that puts me in the top 9% of educated people in this country, can't find a solution to this, then there really is a problem in this country. And all we really need to resolve it is for people to care, for people to understand that this is a situation that affects everyone. I'm one person, but my life has touched 400 people that I know of. And out of this room, I only know of one that I told before the story. So it's possible that I've touched hundreds more. We all touch each other's lives. It doesn't matter where we were born. If we're living in the same space, in the same area, we make an impact, some good, some bad. But it doesn't have to be bad, we choose to be good. And for most immigrants, like my mother, who babysitted children her entire life here, she just wanted to contribute and raise her sons. And that's what most of us want. I have learned so much this year. I have been afforded so many gifts from God that I don't deserve. And I have grown in so many ways. And I could spend hours talking about them all, but I won't. Don't worry. I just wanted to leave you guys with this final lesson, important lesson for me. That as people hear my story, they tell me how remarkable I am, how courageous I am, how strong I am. And I respectfully disagree with all those statements, because I don't think that my life has been any harder than anyone else's. I don't think that I've overcome more than anyone else. My life has just been a series of challenges that my God in heaven thought I could deal with. And when the situations became so difficult that I didn't think I could bear them any longer, God graced me with gifts like people helping me along the way. He even nuts me along. I mean, people are horrified when they hear that I was considering suicide, but the truth of the matter is, if I hadn't hit that low point, if I hadn't hit a point where I wanted to end it, I never would have told anyone. I would have carried on miserable and unhappy. And after sharing my story, I have found a joy that I could never have realized without being open and honest about who I am. I think what makes my story remarkable is this, is that I didn't break. See, politics, people, even God gave me every reason to give up on my faith. Gave me every reason to stop believing, to feel sorry for myself, to make myself out to a victim. And I think that's true of all of us, that our challenges in our life puts us in positions where we choose not to face what's in front of us. We choose to believe that our challenges are greater than what we can handle. And it's probably true they are, alone, but together we can do more. I think what makes my story remarkable is that somehow, through all the labyrinth, through all the pain, through all the suffering, I somehow came out better. I somehow came out stronger. I somehow came out with a deeper faith than I had in my life. And even though this year has been rough, and I know that what's to come is going to be harder, and understand that as I took the story public, my life has become a lot harder. I am facing challenges that I knew would come, but they are horrible. I have had to say goodbye to people and places that I love. I have had to sacrifice so much, but I am still grateful for every moment of my life. Every pain, every suffering, from my father's abuse to my grandmother's abuse, because it all developed who I became today. And what God has given me this year that I hope to use for the rest of my life to make the world a better place is that I found out who I am. And I'm better than I was. I'm more than I am. And who I am today is the man that I always wanted to be. I became the man that I prayed my whole life I would be, someone of honor, of of strength, of courage, who's willing to face challenges, who's willing to stand up against a world that rejects them. Because Gandhi said, you have to be the change you want to see in the world. And if my immigration situation is going to get fixed, it's because I took action. But for me, it's deeper. I want to help others. And all of this came from my suffering. All of this came from my pain. So I would just share with you that whatever you're going through, whatever you're enduring, don't reject it. Don't be frustrated by it. Don't be beaten by it. Embrace it, conquer it, and face it. And you will wake up the next morning. I pray that you have a life as lucky as the one I've had. I've been told by my attorney that I am the unluckiest person he's ever met, and yet I feel like the luckiest man in the world. I am dead broke now. I am unemployed, and I am unemployable, and I feel like the richest man in the world. I don't know what the future holds, and mostly uncertainty, and it's possible that I could be deported, and I feel like a success, like a great success, because people care about me, because people believe in me. Just trust God and give your life to each other, and together we will be okay.
All right.
Amen.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to the story of my life.